Elon Musk's Starlink is entering India, but here's what nobody is telling you. He is being forced to enter India. Everyone thinks he's coming here to help rural users get internet access. Wrong. Actually, he had no choice in this decision. But why? How can the world's richest man be forced to enter into a market already dominated by Jio and Airtel? And what does this mean for India's internet future? By the end of this video, you'll see why Starlink's entry in India is less about helping us and more about saving itself. So let's dive in. Hi, I'm Hiral and welcome to Level Up with Hiral. Look, you and I are sitting here with fast Jio and Airtel internet, watching YouTube in HD. But 651.6 million people, that is about 61 crore people in India, still don't have access to the internet. Our internet penetration is just 55.3% and it's growing painfully slow. In the last 5 years, it has only increased by 9%. To understand just how critical internet penetration is for India, the World Bank has said that a 10% increase in internet penetration can give a 1.12% increase in GDP growth in developing countries. This means that more internet access literally translates to faster economic growth for our nation. So why can't Jio and Airtel just build more towers? You would think it's simple, just build towers in rural areas, right? But it's not that easy. Setting up towers in remote villages costs a lot, and there aren't enough users to cover these costs. Plus, with floods, power cuts, and tough maintenance, running these towers becomes a loss-making headache. That's where satellites change everything. With Starlink, you get internet directly from a satellite in space instead of relying on the nearest star. Theoretically, you can get internet anywhere in the world, even on Mount Everest or the most remote villages. Of course, two conditions apply. You need a Starlink terminal with a clear view of the sky, not inside tunnels or dense forests. The country must allow Starlink to operate there, and that's what makes this story so fascinating. Musk isn't entering India just to solve the internet problem in rural areas. He is literally being forced to do it. Why would Musk choose India, a market with low purchasing power, when there are countries with higher purchasing power that could give him far better revenue? It makes zero business sense unless he doesn't have a choice. And here's why he doesn't. Starlink's economics doesn't work country by country. As of May 2025, they already have 7,600 satellites orbiting the entire Earth. A Starlink satellite takes about 90 minutes to orbit the Earth once. Each Starlink satellite spends 6.6 minutes, about 7.3% of its orbit flying over India. If nobody in India uses it, that is 7.3% capacity getting wasted, costing Musk money or rather losing money every single pass. Think of Starlink like an express train. The train runs its full route no matter what. But if no one boards at one station, those empty seats are wasted. Right now, India is that underused station. For Musk, every unused satellite passing over India is like those empty seats. And that's what he needs to cover. Literally the entire world, not only India. And here's where economics of scale becomes crucial. When a business has huge fixed costs, profit only comes with scale, because the cost per user keeps dropping as more and more people use it. Take Netflix for example. Huge cost to create content and run servers, but adding one more subscriber costs almost nothing. Airlines. The plane flies anyway. Every extra passenger adds extra revenue without extra cost. Or theme parks. The rides and infrastructure cost millions, but every extra visitor increases profits because the fixed costs stay the same. Starlink works exactly the same way. Manufacturing cost per satellite is 2 to 4 crore rupees. Launch cost per satellite is around 10.3 crore rupees. And total Starlink satellites are 7,600 plus. Now the time over India per orbit is 6.6 minutes. That is 7.3% of its orbit. Wasted capacity in India is unused. 7.3% of global efficiency lost. Each satellite costs 12 to 14 crore rupees. With about 7,600 satellites already in the orbit, the fixed cost is massive. The only way for Musk to make Starlink sustainable is to get as many users as possible in every country, including India. Starlink has already rolled out services in over 100 countries and is currently serving more than 6 million customers worldwide. So Musk isn't entering India to be charitable. He literally cannot afford not to. But here's what's crazy. Starlink can already deliver 600 to 700 Gbps of bandwidth in India without launching a single new satellite. At 20 Mbps per user, that's enough for 30,000 to 35,000 people online at the same time. By 2027, Starlink aims to hit 3 Tbps. which means supporting around 1.5 to 2 lakh users simultaneously. And by 2030, they're projecting 5.7 million subscribers, with bandwidth shooting nearly 30x compared to 2025, around 18 to 21 Tbps. And remember, subscribers will always be more than simultaneous users, because not everyone is online all the time. Starlink is planning to launch in India with a hardware cost of 33,000 rupees and a monthly subscription fee of 3,000 rupees. Now, let's do the math for India. With the current capacity, there are 30,000 users, and the monthly revenue would be 3,000 per user, that is 9 crore rupees. Their target by 2027 is to reach 1.5 lakh users, that would be 45 crore rupees. By 2030, the users would be 9 lakh, that is 270 crore rupees. The subscribers would be 57 lakh, that is 1,710 crore rupees. Plus one-time hardware sales alone would mean 57 lakh users into 33,000 rupees, that is 18,810 crore rupees. So basically, the more users, the cheaper Starlink becomes per person and the profits explode. But here's the million-rupee question. Will rural India really be able to afford Starlink? Paying 3,000 rupees per month just for internet sounds absurdly expensive for most families. And if they were really willing to pay that much, Jio and Airtel would have actually been in the picture. The majority of the 65 plus crore unconnected Indians lack the disposable income to even consider it. And this is Starlink's biggest roadblock. So who's actually going to pay Starlink's premium pricing? At first glance, it seems impossible. But here can be a jugaad. Think of it like how friends buy one Netflix account and share the password. A small village in Bihar, 10 families, all frustrated with poor internet, come together. Each chip in 3,300 rupees for the hardware, that is 33,000 total. They split the 3,000 monthly fee, just 300 rupees per family. Genius jugaad, right? A temporary hack that suddenly makes the Starlink plan cheaper than the Jio plan. And we're just comparing prices. But here's the catch. Total unconnected Indians is 65 crore. But their target customers is actually only 57 lakh who can actually afford premium. And even if Starlink captures less than 1% of these users, it's still a huge revenue opportunity. Yet, that's less than 1% of the unconnected population, means a massive gap still exists. Yes, maybe prices will fall as Starlink grows. But the real question is, what is Starlink building for the top 1% of rural India or for everyone? Right now, it certainly appears to be only for the top 1%. At first glance, you'd think Jio and Airtel would be terrified of Starlink. A foreign company beaming internet straight from space obviously sounds like a threat. But to our surprise, they're not fighting Starlink, they are partnering with it. Starlink brings satellites and cutting-edge tech. Jio and Airtel bring ground stores, customer support and deep rural reach. With thousands of urban and rural stores, Jio and Airtel can stock and sell Starlink kits nationwide. No long import waits. Their teams can handle installations, activations, payments and troubleshooting, making Starlink easy for rural users. Starlink can plug into Jio and Airtel's backhaul and logistics, improving reliability and extending broadband to schools, clinics and businesses. They're not competitors, they're complementary. And this isn't just an India story. Starlink has followed the same playbook in the US, Australia and Japan, teaming up with local telecom giants to scale faster. In India, it's a classic case of if you can't beat them, join them and make the pie bigger for everyone. Every satellite passing over India unused is money bleeding from Musk's pocket. That's why Elon had to enter India, not by choice, but by compulsion. So next time when you hear someone say Musk is here to help rural India, remember, this isn't charity in any way. He is clearly making a ton of money from this. And it's survival economics. And India is his only way to fill those empty seats. So the real question isn't whether Starlink will succeed in India. It's whether rural Indians will embrace community sharing models to access space-age internet. What do you think? Will villages pool money for a satellite internet? Or will they wait for traditional telecom to catch up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please subscribe to Level Up with Hiral. I will see you next week. Ciao for now.